want to dig in a little bit and give people some very good, accurate information about the region of Champagne and about sparkling wine as a whole. There are some people who have some information, and some of it's very bad information. You know, one of my favorite stories is of Dom Perignon standing in the cellars, looking at his glass, saying, "Come, my brothers, for there are stars in my glass," which is a lovely image, but completely inaccurate. Right? He was not the creator of Champagne. Indeed, as I understand, his mission initially was to actually get rid of the bubbles. Now, certainly he's an important figure, and it's not my intention to deny his significant contributions. But let's start very basically. Let's talk about where the region is, the unique soil, and the grapes that comprise the wines.
Well, I think that's one of the most important bits of information and misinformation that's out there, is that Champagne is simply French sparkling wine. There's actually a larger volume of sparkling wine made in France that isn't Champagne. You know, Dom Perignon was a person, and that story supposedly happened in a place. So Champagne is a place full of people. It's very specific. It's 75 miles to the east of Paris. It's one of the most northerly wine-growing regions in the world. And it's a very particular soil.
All right, so let's just be really clear here. So Champagne is a geographic designation, not a qualitative one.
Exactly. It is a place. It is on a map. You can go step over one line, you're out of Champagne. You step across it, you are in Champagne. First and foremost, it is a place. Absolutely. It is a place full of people that make a sparkling wine, and they've made that sparkling wine for hundreds of years. And in fact, you're right. Dom Perignon was trying to get the bubbles out, and then finally they just decided that they liked it, and they kept them in.
Right. But as that northernmost region, right, the grapes don't ripen to the degree that they do in other areas.
Correct.
And so it was really a function of man's ingenuity over what nature was providing that they were able to make this beautiful product.
Well, true. What was happening was when the bottles were, because it was so cold there, the yeast would go dormant in the winter, and when the bottles warm back up, they hadn't fully fermented. So they would start fermenting again still in the bottle, and that's why you have
that
gas.
second fermentation.
That secondary fermentation.
And that gas is strictly trapped carbon dioxide.
Correct.
Okay.
Champagne is it's a complicated process, but it's a simple way to explain it. It's a blend of base still wines. You make wines just like you would any other wines. But in that region, they don't fully ripen. As you said, it's so far north. They have a very poor vintages from year to year. So it's a matter of taking those still wines, blending them together.
From which grapes?
From 3 grapes: Pinot Noir, Chardonnay, and Pinot Meunier.
So most people know Chardonnay and Pinot Noir and understand those characteristics. Tell me about Pinot Meunier.
Pinot Meunier is the economic grape of Champagne. Any Champenois, any person that loves Champagne would tell you that the noble grapes are Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. But as those in the wine world know, those are very delicate grapes, very difficult to grow. And from an economic basis, you need a third grape. You need a grape that can both be the bridge between the two nobles, offer some particular terroir, because Pinot Meunier is really not grown anywhere else, but also be a little sturdier, a little hardier.
A little fleshier, and add some of the roundness and richness to the wine.
Exactly.
But it would be unfair to say that beautiful Champagne cannot be made from Pinot Meunier, because we know that's not true.
Of course not, of course not. There are some great 100% Pinot Meunier champagnes. It's all a matter of all the factors: who's making it, how they're growing the grapes, what the year was.
And tell me about that unique terroir. What's in that soil in Champagne?
Chalk, lots and lots and lots of chalk, sometimes 30, 40, 50 feet of chalk. What it does beyond adding the flavor and the terroir, it allows for proper drainage of water, and it holds on to water in drier years. It acts as a natural insulator as well. A lot of the vineyards, because it's so cold, when they have those chalky, rocky soils, the sun reflects up on the grapes, and it keeps them warmer through the cold
So
times.
it's driving that process.
Yes.
Okay.